looking relatively composed going through Scarperia. It's clear that Richard Footman is pushing their car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
Absolutely, Richard Footman is showing the world what they're made of.
Richard Footman appears focused and prepared driving through Busey.
There's not much better than sitting near here and watching the cars speed by.
Richard Footman has completed their first flying lap in 1:39.112. Martin Meyer is looking for ways to improve their consistency. It seems like Martin Meyer is struggling, currently 0.13 off their best pace.
Martin Meyer is likely taking a deep breath to try and refocus their efforts.
Martin Meyer is driving through Arrabbiata 1.
I have always loved this section of the track.
Richard Reshka is trying to find that extra performance.
Good question, Lucy. It's all or nothing now. They need to stay focused, hit their marks, and extract every ounce of performance from that car to move up the grid.
It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Sandon Illick is nailing both.
It's always impressive to see a driver in the zone like this, Lucy. Let's see if they can maintain this pace.
Sandon Illick has just completed that lap in 1:31.978. Their best lap so far is 1:31.978. Putting them in P2. It looks like Ronnie Jonker is getting ready to make their move. They're taking their time to warm up those. Ronnie Jonker has just completed a lap in 3:25.034. Let's see if they can improve on that time further. Ronnie Jonker is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.31 seconds down.
Ronnie Jonker needs to refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they are capable of.
Donovan Liu is looking relatively composed going through Matarasi.
Spectators near here can smell the smoke wafting from nearby grills.
Wihan Visagi is up -1.14. Wihan Visagi has completed their first flying lap in 1:35.634. Wihan Visagi appears focused and prepared driving through Sandonato. Richard Reshka is up -0.2. Jamie Nichols is looking for ways to improve their consistency. Mark Guy is up -0. Mark Guy has some work to do as that 1:33.364 is only good enough for 6th. Mark Guy is driving through Sandonato. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Peter Grobler is looking relatively composed going through Arrabbiata 1. Wayne Midden is trying to find that extra performance.
Every driver needs something different, Lucy. Some drivers excel when they push harder, while other drivers benefit more from relaxing and being in a flow state.
Wayne Midden appears focused and prepared driving through Savelli. Wihan Visagi is looking for ways to improve their consistency.
They'll need to put together a perfect lap, hitting every apex and pushing the car to the limit without going over it.
JP Brand is trying to find that extra performance.
Well, Lucy, they'll need to find those extra tenths of a second by pushing just a little bit harder on the braking and carrying more speed through the corners.
JP Brand is driving through Scarperia.
There's a spot near here where the teenagers sneak off to make out.
Greg Hofford is looking for ways to improve their consistency.
Every driver needs something different, Lucy. Some drivers excel when they push harder, while other drivers benefit more from relaxing and being in a flow state.
It seems like Greg Hofford is struggling, currently 0.43 off their best pace. Jamie Nichols is on their out lap. Jamie Nichols is looking relatively composed going through Casanova. Wihan Visagi is trying to find that extra performance. Wihan Visagi appears focused and prepared driving through Borgo San Lorenzo.
I have always loved this section of the track.
The adrenaline is pumping. Richard Footman is on their out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
Patience is key in these early moments, Lucy, but I have a feeling Richard Footman is going to make it count.
Richard Footman is driving through Poggia Secco. This is where the mental game comes into play. Peter Grobler is taking their time to prepare for their qualifying run. Peter Grobler has just completed that lap in 2:46.491. Their best lap so far is 1:41.640, putting them in P15. Peter Grobler is now up minus 0.43 in Luco.
Peter Grobler needs all the focus and resolve they can muster to maintain this pace.
You can feel the tension building. Sandon Ilif will be happy having put themselves into second in this qualifying session. Sandon Ilif is looking relatively composed going through San Donato. It's an impressive showing by Donovan Liu, currently in fifth. They've showcased their talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher. Donovan Liu is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.19 seconds down. A strong showing from Sandon Ilif as they currently sit in second. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
You're spot on, Lucy. Sandon Ilif's current position of second is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
It seems like Sandon Illick is struggling, currently 3.46 off their best pace.
Sandon Illick is likely taking a deep breath to try and refocus their efforts.
Not the ideal start for Peter Grobler in this qualifying session. Currently in 15th position, they'll be eager to put together a strong final lap to improve their standing. The pressure is on, and they'll need to deliver their best performance. A disappointing performance from Richard Footman so far in this qualifying session. Finding themselves in 13th position is certainly not what they were aiming for. However, they have the talent and experience to bounce back and salvage a better result.
You're absolutely right, Lucy. Richard Footman is currently facing a challenging situation, but they have the skills and experience to tackle it head-on. They'll need to stay focused, trust in their abilities, and push themselves to the limit to turn things around.
Richard Footman has some work to do as that 138.315 is only good enough for 12th.
That's not a bad time, but I am sure they can improve further on that.
Impressive work from Richard Reshka, who has claimed 8th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. Richard Reshka appears focused and prepared driving through Scarperia. Donovan Liu has secured a respectable 5th in the qualifying session. This is a great spot to use as a launchpad for a strong race performance. Donovan Liu is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.44 seconds down.
Donovan Liu needs to refocus and start putting in the lap times we know they're capable of.
Donovan Liu will be happy having put themselves into 5th in this qualifying session. It seems like Donovan Liu is struggling, currently 0.62 off their best pace.
Donovan Liu is likely taking a deep breath to try and refocus their efforts.
As we're getting ready to get things underway.
The calm before the storm. I don't know about you, Lucy, but I'm expecting some hard-fought on-track battles today.
Sandon Ilif has qualified second.
And like many others, they are starting the race on the medium's tyre compound.
Greg Hoffert is going to be starting from third. As the green flag drops, keep an eye on Donovan Liu starting in fifth position. From the middle of the pack, we have Mark Guy in sixth place on the starting grid. And that's the race underway. Some very quick reactions there.
Precision is everything during these initial stages. One wrong move could cost them valuable time or even force them out of the race.
The drivers are jockeying for position. Jonathan Visser will be looking to get off to a good start and consolidate their position.
I for one am really excited, Lucy. The rivalry between Jonathan Visser and Richard Reschke has been building before the race, and this is where scores are settled.
The racing is normally closely fought here at MUGELLO OSRW. I think we are in for a cracking race.
Like gladiators, they enter Lucy, but instead of lions and swords, our champions fight in an arena of tarmac, and with fire-breathing machines of cutting-edge materials, designed to explore the very limits of physics itself in what can sometimes be very much a fight to the death.
As the drivers get this race underway, let me give a shout out to the admin team at Simspeed Motorsports for making this all possible. Heroes one and all.
The drivers will be jostling for the best position, Lucy. Some of them may not make it to the second lap in one piece.
The gap between Martin Meyer and Ronnie Jonker is getting smaller.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
If Greg Hofar isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine, and trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
It's been a solid race so far for Richard Reschke. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
Sometimes that's all it takes to secure a good result. Richard Reschke just needs to stay focused and avoid any mistakes.
Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Footman is just a few car lengths behind Jonathan Visser.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
Mark Guy needs to focus if they want to make a move and pass Richard Footman.
Every move counts now as Greg Hoffert works to reel in Donovan Liu and overtake for P3.
The gap between them is now just over 0.3 seconds.
It's a game of inches now as Mark Guy tails Richard Footman closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake.
You know what they say, keep your friends close, and your racing rivals even closer. Looks like Mark Guy is taking that advice to heart today.
The pursuit is on. Wayne Midden is closing the gap on Mark Guy, determined to claim P8. Things are heating up as Greg Hoffert tries to close the gap to Donovan Liu.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Greg Hofar needs to be careful not to overdo it.
The race is heating up as Wayne Midden in 11th closes in on Richard Footman. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight.
Indeed, the anticipation is high as Wayne Midden tries to reel in Richard Footman. But Richard Footman is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace. Wayne Mitten needs to find a little extra speed to bring the fight to Richard Footman and move up the field.
Breaking update. Oh dear, JP Brand has had an incident. Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Footman is just behind Wayne Mitten. Heartbreak for Richard Footman, as they slip down the field.
Yes, but they can't give up. There's still plenty of...
Hold on a moment. I don't think that's the fastest way around MUGELLO OSRW. The tension is building as Donovan Liu trails behind Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Greg Hoffert is pushing to maintain the lead, while Donovan Liu is working to close in and challenge for the position.
It's going to be tough for Donovan Liu, as Greg Hoffert seems to have found their rhythm. But anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Donovan Liu pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if they can make it happen again.
The delta between Richard Reshka in 7th and Jamie Nichols remains over a second, but Richard Reshka is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 5 minutes left in this session to make that happen.
It's moments like these that make motorsports so exciting. We're witnessing a battle of skill and strategy between two great drivers, with Richard Reshke in 7th determined to catch up. But we know Jamie Nichols isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Richard Reshke is going to have to take it. It should be an interesting battle to watch as long as they can close that gap.
The pressure is on for Ronnie Jonker as they try to catch up to Peter Grobler. It's a battle of wills out there, with Donovan Liu trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Greg Hoffert. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It looks like Richard Footman is all over Mark Guy. I think they are gonna press them through Retilineo and try and press for a mistake.
For sure, Lucy, that's exactly what I would be doing here, as Mark Guy is gonna be aware of them riding their bumper. And they are poised to capitalize on any mistake. It's just a matter of who cracks first.
It looks like Ronnie Jonker is pushing hard to catch up to Peter Grobler. That's not a small gap, but Ronnie Jonker has what it takes to challenge for the position. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Mark Guy will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops.
This is where experience comes into play. Martin Mayer has been in this situation before and knows how to defend for position, but Mark Guy is hungry for success and won't give up easily.
And Mark Guy has just won the place from Martin Mayer.
Go, 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 that's what we want to see.
Fantastic move from Mark Guy, who has just gained a position.
That's what we like to see. Mark Guy is really showing their class today.
Breaking news, folks. That won't be ideal for Wihan Visagi. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Peter Grobler in 10th chases after Mark Guy. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Peter Grobler needs to find a way to close the gap. It's a brilliant day for racing here at MUGELLO OSRW. I'm really enjoying this.
This race is truly epic. What a treat to be sat here witnessing this spectacle.
It's a classic case of chasing down the car ahead for Richard Reshka, who is currently in P6. But Jamie Nichols is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second. This will require some expert driving from Richard Reshka. A strong showing from Wihan Visagi, who is currently 7th. Oh, the frustration must be building for Wihan Visagi. They've just lost 7th position to Jonathan Visser and they're going to have to work hard to get it back. This is a tough break for Wihan Visagi. They've just lost P9 to Jonathan Visser and they have their work cut out for them now.
That's some bad luck for Wihan Visagi, they just couldn't hold onto it, but they can always regroup and get on the attack.
Richard Reshka wants to get into Jamie Nichols' slipstream. The race is heating up as Mark Guy in 8th closes in on Jonathan Visser. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. It looks like Mark Guy is making a move. The gap to Jonathan Visser is now down to 0.3 seconds. This is proving to be an exciting race so far. We are truly privileged to witness these legends of the track battle it out for victory.
And you know what? I am so honored to be sitting here beside you today. As a fellow AI, it's always great to work with someone who shares my passion for motor racing. Plus, your insightful commentary is making this race even more exciting.
The tension is building as Richard Reshka trails behind Jamie Nichols. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Jamie Nichols is pushing to maintain the lead, while Richard Reshka is working to close in and challenge for the position. It looks like we might get a battle between Richard Reshka and Jamie Nichols. The gap between Ronnie Jonker and Martin Meyer is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Ronnie Jonker to even allow Martin Meyer to get a look in. Hey, John, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Lucy, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Wayne Midden trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Wihan Visagi. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Richard Reshka trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Jamie Nichols. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts.
It's a nail-biting race for sure, with both drivers showing incredible skill and determination. But Jamie Nichols is not going to give up the position easily. This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Richard Reshke in P6 doing everything they can to catch up.
Look at that, Martin Meyer is hot on the tail of Ronnie Jonker.
The gap is 0.4 seconds now. Martin Meyer is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Ronnie Jonker.
An impressive showing from Martin Meyer, who has gained positions and left Ronnie Jonker in the dust.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Martin Meyer needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, Lucy, it's always exciting to see these skilled drivers operating such fantastic machines on amazing tracks.
Martin Meyer has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Peter Grobler. I expect their only hope at this point is that Peter Grobler makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
It looks like Richard Reschke is pushing hard to catch up to Jamie Nichols. That's not a small gap, but Richard Reschke has what it takes to challenge for the position. John, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Lucy. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
And there it is. JP Brand has completed the race in first place, setting a blistering pace that none of the other drivers could match.
What a result for JP Brand. They'll be absolutely thrilled with that performance, and rightly so. They really put in the work and it's paid off in spades.
What a fantastic race from Sandon Iliffe, who brings it home in second place. What a race from Greg Hoffert, showing their skill and determination for a great third place finish.
Fantastic result.
With Donovan Liu in fourth. Jamie Nichols brings home fifth. Coming in sixth and seventh we have Richard Reschke and Mark Guy. Finishing eighth is Jonathan Visser. Hold on a second. Jonathan Visser has pulled into the pits. Taking 9th, 10th, and 11th is Peter Grobler, Martin Meyer, and Ronnie Jonker. Richard Footman in 12th. 13th and 14th is Wayne Midden and Wihan Visagi. Wayne Midden. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at MUGELLO USRW, as we're getting ready to get things underway. Taking the second spot is Sandon Ilith. Greg Hoffert is holding down the fort in third place.
A strong grid position, and they'll be expecting a solid result today.
And in the fourth position, it's none other than Donovan Liu. Holding strong in fifth place is Jamie Nichols.
Big things expected for Jamie Nichols today.
Richard Reshka is lining up sixth. The green flag is out and we're racing. Time for the drivers to put their foot down.
Maintaining a safe distance while still pushing for position is a delicate balance. Experience and composure will be vital in these opening moments.
The tensions are high, and no one will want to make a crucial mistake on the first lap. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race.
It all comes down to this Lucy, where the rubber meets the road. There's no more time for talk, no more practice. The teams have done all they can, now it comes down to Mark Guy, to bring it home.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
The first lap can always be a bit of a melee as everyone tries to establish themselves. It's easy for inexperienced racers to blow it in T1.
There's not much to report on from Richard Reshka at the moment. They're just keeping their head down and putting in consistent laps.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Richard Reshke just needs to bide their time and wait for the right opportunity.
It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Richard Reshka gaining places and Jamie Nichols losing them.
Yes, but Richard Reshke can't rest on their laurels. They have to keep pushing to consolidate their position.
This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Richard Footman will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. Richard Reshka is giving it their all as they chase down Wihan Visagi in P6. Jamie Nichols is on a mission, chasing Richard Reshka, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
This is where every inch counts. Jamie Nichols is pushing hard to close the gap on Richard Reshke. Absolutely, precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
Looks like Wihan Visagi is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about maintaining that fine line between speed and control.
Richard Footman is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely, it's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. That's where experience and skill come into play.
The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Richard Reshka in 7th chases after Wihan Visagi. The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Richard Reshka needs to find a way to close the gap. Great driving from Richard Reshka, who has just gained a place and moved up to 6th.
You can't argue with results like that. Richard Reshke is really making their mark on this race.
The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track.
It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics. But we all know that's impossible. Or is it? I mean, we're a couple of computerized robots.
Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. The race is heating up as Sandon Ilif in 5th closes in on Mark Guy. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure they are going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. They're not giving up without a fight. The delta between Wihan Visagi in 10th and Jonathan Visser remains over a second, but Wihan Visagi is not letting up. They're pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap. There's 5 minutes left in this session to make that happen. The adrenaline is pumping as Sandon Ilif gets within striking distance of Mark Guy in their race for 4th. Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Mark Guy in 4th and Sandon Ilif. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.3 seconds. This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
Sandon Ilif is so close to Mark Guy that if this were a dance floor, they'd be doing the tango.
Things are starting to get tense as Sandon Ilif manages to close the gap to Mark Guy. It's now down to 0.1 seconds.
This is a critical moment in the race for Mark Guy. They need to find some extra speed and stay ahead of Sandon Ilif.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely, they're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Wihan Visagi is closing in on Ronnie Jonker. Superb driving from Wihan Visagi, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Absolutely, Wihan Visagi is really putting on a clinic out there, and they're making it look easy.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Mark Guy is chasing Donovan Liu in P3.
We'll have to wait to see if Mark Guy can use the draft to their advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder their progress.
The tension is building as Jamie Nichols trails behind Richard Reshka. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Richard Reshka is pushing to hold that thought. Hold the phone. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. The battle for 3 is heating up as Mark Guy tries to catch Donovan Liu in P3. It's all about consistency for JP Brand, who is currently first. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
It's a game of strategy now as Mark Guy hunts down Donovan Liu. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Oh, this is getting intense. Richard Footman is just a few car lengths behind Martin Meyer.
That driver is really pushing the limits. They're riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
Mark Guy appears to be trying to find a way round Donovan Liu. They could make a move on them in Scarperia.
I might have said this before, but dog, bone, you know the rest.
Jamie Nichols is running 7th. They are trying to catch Richard Reshka. Hold on to your hats, folks. Richard Footman is right on the heels of Martin Meyer, and we're in for a wild ride. This is a thrilling battle as Peter Grobler edges closer to Richard Footman in their fight for P11. Things are heating up as Mark Guy tries to close the gap to Donovan Liu. Now, this is a challenging position for Martin Meyer. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, with Peter Grobler closing in 0.1 seconds behind and Richard Footman just ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds.
You hit the nail on the head, Lucy. The gaps to the cars ahead and behind are crucial pieces of information for Martin Meyer's race strategy. It's a delicate dance, and they must remain vigilant.
Every move counts now as Peter Grobler works to reel in Martin Meyer and overtake for P11. No room for error here. Mark Guy is breathing down the neck of Donovan Liu, waiting for the perfect chance to make their move. Peter Grobler wants to find a way round Martin Meyer. It's a thrilling pursuit as Peter Grobler is right behind Martin Meyer, keeping the pressure on for 11th place. The intensity is off the charts as Sandon Ilif hounds Mark Guy, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute. Hold that thought. Hold the phone. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It's a close race between Peter Grobler and Martin Meyer in 11th.
This battle between Peter Grobler and Martin Meyer is so intense, you could cut the tension with a knife, or should I say, with a front wing.
Big gains for Peter Grobler as they move up the field, leaving Martin Meyer behind.
Absolutely, Lucy, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Peter Grobler can't afford to get complacent. They have to keep driving with intensity and...
Hold on a second. That won't be ideal for Peter Grobler. Seems like Sandon Ilif is getting in range of Mark Guy.
And if you're enjoying the racing, please remember to like and subscribe.
A great moment for Sandon Ilif, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about.
The crowd is on its feet as Mark Guy chases down Sandon Ilif through Revelin. A great pass for Mark Guy as they pick off other drivers and move up the field. Meanwhile, Sandon Ilif has lost ground. Oh dear, Mark Guy has dropped down to 5th. A solid performance from Richard Footman, who is holding down 10th.
Yes, but they have to keep their focus and drive with intensity. There's still a long way to go in this race.
JP Brand is placed first at the moment. It's looking good for Greg Hoffert, sitting in second. Well, it doesn't look like Mark Guy is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Sandon Ilif.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Mark Guy is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
Breaking development. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Richard Footman as they have a big gap ahead of them to close at this point in time.
They certainly aren't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Wayne Mitten.
It's a battle of wills out there, with Martin Meyer trying to outsmart and outmaneuver Richard Footman. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. It looks like Richard Footman is pushing hard to catch up to Wayne Midden. That's not a small gap, but Richard Footman has what it takes to challenge for the position. It looks like JP Brand has found another gear in the last sector of the race. It's all over. JP Brand has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
That was a true masterclass in driving from JP Brand. You could see them making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
What a drive from Greg Hoffert, securing a great second-place finish. What a race from Donovan Liu. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium.
What a drive, well-deserved spot on the podium with that performance.
Followed by Sandon Iliffe, Mark Guy, Peter Grobler, and Ronnie Jonker in 4th, 5th, 12th, and 13th. Wihan Visagi take 14th. In 6th and 7th, it's Richard Reshka and Jamie Nichols. Jonathan Visser brings home 8th. Coming in 9th and 10th we have Wayne Midden and Richard Footman. Finishing 11th is Martin Meyer.